Welcome to a special edition of Legend of the Superstition Mountains. We've been putting these out on Fridays. I'm Wayne Tuttle, and this week we'll be talking about the Dons of Arizona Discovery Camp. Now, the Dons of Arizona are an organization that began in 1931 as the Triangle Club. In 1932, they changed their name to the Dons Club of Arizona. They've been around ever since then and been in existence. Frank and I are both members. And the Dons each year have a 6-week, every Friday, thing called the Discovery Camp. They bring out these kids from these various schools, the buses pull in, and they teach them about prospecting, about the Lost Dutchman Mine, ranching, branding, roping, about the various indigenous tribes in the area and so forth. They take them on a short hike. They have lunch, learn about the Dons of Arizona as well. So we do this, have several groups, 5 different groups going through each station on that Friday, and then we break it down after 6 weeks. It's a great experience for the kids. This year we actually had some bighorn sheep up where we were doing. Frank, myself, Greg Davis, a number of us, Woody actually came out and helped out for a bit one day. We did the gold panning area, so they would learn about the Lost Dutchman Mine. Greg Davis does a great story, entertains the kids, has a little cap gun and bow and arrow he plays around with, tells the story in a nice, fun way, and then we take them over and they get to pan at these metal troughs that we have, and they get to learn a little bit about that. They get whatever they kind of end up with at the bottom. Sometimes there was a couple kids that ended up with a little trace of gold. Some of them, most of them end up with garnets or mica and stuff like that, but they all get that and they put it in their little vials and they get to run off with it to the next station. They get a branded piece of wood. They get to rope, not real cattle, obviously, but and Liberty Wildlife comes out. They bring hawks. They bring falcons. They bring owls out so they can display them for the kids. The kids can learn about the wildlife in the area. So it's a great opportunity to show these kids. A lot of these kids never get a chance to go in the superstitions. A lot of them don't get to come out of the city. So they get to hear various histories and legends of these different things. The Dons have been doing this for a number of years. It's a great nonprofit organization. It's the group we've just recently made the trip with to the DeGrazia, Gallery of the Sun. The Tumakakori stuff that we did, and the Presidio, that was all part of working with the Dons. The organization has helped to promote and celebrate and educate on the Southwest. So it's a great thing, and being part of that organization. At one time they had the Trek, which was a big, huge event. About 1,500 to 2,000 people showed up for that. Had the Firefall, the Lost Dutchman story, dancers, musicians, and stuff all day. That ended around 2000, 2002. And about that time period is when the Rendezvous came in and then Discovery Camp really began in full force. So the Rendezvous kind of didn't really replace it because of the pageant it was, because we're talking hundreds compared to thousands. But that's kind of it in the gist. The Dons meet once a month from fall to spring. We take summers off because it's kind of hot, and we have monthly outings and so forth. They were in the Lost Dutchman's Parade this year, and a lot of other participation activities like the Lost Dutchman Marathon and so forth. So it's a really cool organization. If you're interested, they have a website, which I'm sure is something as simple as just go Dons of Arizona. It's going to bring it up. They also have a Facebook page with information. While doing Discovery Camp, Trevor came out and helped promote the Dons and kind of move them into the 21st century. We wanted to put together some footage of what happens at Discovery Camp so the schools can see it, the parents can see it, and some of the sponsors, the groups that kind of chip in to help us with a lot of stuff out there, because there is a cost to doing all these things. And Trevor came out for the 6 weeks, and for the most part, he just wandered around filming this, that. Of course, had to be very careful not to get the children, so they couldn't be identified in there, because that's just a thing. But we wanted to show the experience a bit so everybody get to see that, and we get a bit of a description. So it's a very short video, but he put 6 weeks of time of gathering footage, and it was not meant to be professionally done. Nobody had a script. We just kind of wanted to get something together. It was the first time the Dons kind of got that presentation. Bringing Dons into the 21st century as they've kind of survived after the trek and developing Discovery Camp. It's been a kind of a tough thing. We're coming up on the 100th anniversary, and we're trying to bring the Dons back up to speed. At one time, that organization, if you ever saw the amount of material to pull off Trek and the number of hundreds of people that did that, it's an amazing thing. And maybe sometime we'll do some film footage and show some of what happened at Trek. There is a nice little documentary we have, and maybe that would be something we could put up so people could see what Trek was. Because it's kind of important to get that whole thing out there. But the Dons of Arizona, wonderful organization. Myself, Frank belonged to it. Greg Davis, who is also the archivist of the Dons. His uncle was one of the original people that helped put together the Dons down at the YMCA when it became the Triangle Club. And there's another few other Dutch hunters. But it's generally more of a historical society than a Dutch hunting Lost Dutchman Mine. They, of course, have the base camp and the superstitions. And when they first formed, the first picnics they had picnics and gatherings, and they went out searching for the Lost Dutchman Mine. They actually had a couple early expeditions. And they originally met at First Water, and then after that, they moved down by Willow Canyon, which is now the Peralta Trail, and then they renamed Willow Canyon Peralta Canyon, and then they finally established the Dons Camp later. And anybody who comes to the rendezvous will tell you it's kind of a very cool setup and everything. You can see what they used to do and how big of a deal it is. So that's that. Trevor put a lot of time and effort into it. It's a nice short video featuring a number of people who are members of the Dons. I don't know if I'm even briefly in it. The idea was to simply make it about the members of the Dons that basically led or gave the talks in each thing. And Greg Davis for a number of years has been doing the prospecting area. So we're not trying to steal anyone's thunder. It was about letting these guys have their moment, kind of describing what they're doing and what we're doing. But like I said, I think it's really cool for the kids. It's fun for us teaching them and kind of getting them involved and kind of like watching them smile, laugh, have a good time, and learn about these just different things. I know they love the hike. The hike is kind of fun. We went out to film the hike. I went along with Trevor to help him to film the groups as they went down through the different areas. And it was interesting just to listen to the kids ask some of the questions they were asking and stuff. So it was fun because you get these kids that just don't get out in the desert. They just have no real knowledge of the animals or the flora and all that type of thing. So it was very, very, very cool. And they were all excited. They were pretty hyped up the whole day going through this stuff and getting into it. So it's a great experience. It's a great organization, and it's a great thing, Discovery Camp, and the outreach the Dons of Arizona make. So this week, our little special tidbit is the Dons of Arizona video. Hope everybody enjoys it. Kudos to Trevor for putting that whole thing together for them. Kind of was his idea, and they saw what they could do with it. It was supposed to be, and I don't know if it is now, but it's supposed to go up on the Facebook and the website pages. But it's a done deal, and it was a very nice thing. And so everybody, hope to see everybody at the rendezvous this year in November. But until then, and always more information, enjoy the video. Dons of Arizona, Discovery Camp.
Hi, I'm Steve Gibbs. I'm with the Dons of Arizona. We're at the Dons Base Camp at the south end of the Superstition Mountains. And we are out here with Discovery Camp teaching 3rd and 4th graders the legend, history, and lore of the Southwest.
Hi, I'm Janine Spencer with the Dons of Arizona. I teach Native American Indians in Arizona. We learn about the different tribes. We learn about the Hohokam Indians. We learn about where they lived, how they grew their crops, and we grind corn. They get to paint some pottery, take it home with them.
Welcome to Don's Discovery Camp. Today we're going to talk to you about the history of the North American cowboy and the cattle industry in the history of Arizona. Hugh will be talking about branding and how cattle is managed today.
Hello, my name is Greg Davis. I'm a member of the Dons of Arizona. I'm in charge of gold panning. I teach them the story of the Lost Dutchman gold mine and the history of the Superstition Mountains. Then we take them over to the gold troughs behind me and we teach them how to pan gold, and they get to take whatever they find home.
Hello, my name is Dominic Bottenfield. I'm one of the hiking instructors. I basically take the kids onto a short little loop around. I show them the local fauna and just tell them fun stories about Arizona's wilderness.
Hi everyone, we're from Liberty Wildlife. We're out here at the Dons campground and we bring some birds out to show the students. Liberty Wildlife is a rehab organization. We take in orphan and injured wildlife and rehab what we can and release them back to the wild.
So that's it, wraps it up. Trevor did a very fine job. Hey, those guys aren't professionals, but neither am I. So the next time when you catch Chasing Legends this coming Monday, always remember, I'm Wayne Tuttle, you're not. And take care, and we'll catch you next week.